Welcome to the Conquer Food podcast with Craig and Paula Williams, where we share tips, tricks and strategies from the coalface of the weight loss industry in the UK. We're going to help you to think, eat and move better. Ultimately, we're going to help you finally gain control and conquer food. Haha, got you. I did bell before and after.
And after.
So we're doing a strange thing here where, well, it is a strange thing. There's three people sat in a freezing cold garage talking to you on a microphone. But yeah, we're playing around with whether, obviously the bell, if you've been to camp, you'll know that it represents the parade bell. You know, parade is coming in 5 minutes time. So that's what the bell's about, this. And we're trying to work out whether it sounds best before the jingle, like a 5-minute warning, or after. So let us know. That's the first question of today. What do you think, before or after? Alternatively, we could do. Oh no!
What was that?
that was a different podcast jingle.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Steady, Wait, What podcast.
So what is a bit of a mouthful. So loads of shit goes on in this little room. Right, okay, so welcome to another episode of the Quarantine Daily Podcast, part of the Conquer Food Show. I'm Craig Williams, and we've also got Rick and Nick with us again. We had a great episode yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Smashing.
Yeah, we talked about routines. Today we've got a slightly different question from Cheryl about exercising in the morning, which we're going to dive into. Before that, though, what's good on you? And we're gonna start with you today, Rick. Was that a burp?
Yeah, no, that was oh my God, not me again.
It's like bloody Barney out of The Simpsons. Any other?
That was not a burp. It was oh God. What this brand new day? What is new and good for me on this brand new day? It's
give it away,
a lovely
Rick,
brisk morning, and I'm enjoying getting out in the fresh air this morning and getting out of the house.
Wasn't that mine yesterday?
Was it?
Yeah, you just copied it. Nick, what about you? Give us a serious one, for God's sake.
My grateful for today is the really, really nice Coach House family dinner that we had last night, made with our lovely things from the local butchers that we went to source yesterday, which Ricky made for us. It was really good. Really enjoyed it.
Amazing.
I see what happened here. Cool.
Yeah, you might have worked out that we pre-record these messages, but that's why they're getting a bit confused. Right, okay, so let's get into this episode today. I know there's going to be some great insights, so pay attention. And what I want you to do, I want you to set the intention to find one thing from today's podcast that you can implement that's going to make a dramatic change to your life. Okay, so look out for that. Right, let me bring up the question that I've lost. My gosh. Can anyone remember what the question was?
It was
should you No.
Somebody not struggling to get out and exercise in the morning. How do you combat that? Basically, that was the question.
From Cheryl, wasn't it?
It was from Cheryl, our lovely Cheryl.
Cheryl's actually crushing it.
She is one of the most active members in the group, and she is smashing it, absolutely smashing it. Right,
every day I struggle to start with exercise. Once I get going, I'm okay, but I'd love it to be easier. I'm okay fitness-wise. It's not that I'm blowing and can't do it. All right, okay, blowing as in you've got no thing, and can't do it. It's a mental block. How do you overcome that mental block? So a couple of parts to that. Do we want to talk about the mental block first, or talking about the exercise in the morning first?
I think exercise in the morning first, because I think the key thing is, do you want to exercise in the morning? There's a whole day ahead of you. You don't have to exercise in the morning if it's not working for you, or if it's not working for you right now. There's hours and hours of the day. Have a chilled morning and get to it afterwards. If it's stressing you out of, I'm not getting up and doing it, or you're finding you're enjoying doing something different with your mornings at the moment, maybe just go with it. Yeah,
there's like the idea of something you should do.
Yeah.
Like think back to school, you should do your homework. You just don't want to do it, do you? You know what I mean? You should do this, you should do that, and something very different from shoulds to wants.
Yeah, but I think for a lot of people at the moment, though, our routine is so different from what it would be normally, because we, most of us get up for a certain time to go to work for a certain time to, so to then fit in the rest of life, we choose to exercise first thing because then we know it's done and the rest of the day can't be disrupted. Whereas for the majority of people at the moment, you've got a lot of the day to do a lot of things with. And actually, if what you're going with at the moment is I want to lie in for a bit, or I'm getting up and playing with the kids in the morning, helping them do breakfast, which I don't normally do because they go to a breakfast club before school or something like that, then maybe we just all need to go with the flow a wee bit more and relax and go, do you know what? I can exercise at lunchtime. I can go out in the afternoon. It's unless there's a particular reason why you can only do it in the morning and you're finding it a struggle because you're not doing it, then maybe you just need to re-look at your day and rebalance your day of where you're putting things in.
Yeah, I mean, I used to get, doing the freelance personal training, I used to get a lot of people say, when is the best time to train? And, there was this common belief that it's better in the morning because, you're in a fasted state and you can boost your metabolism and all this. But fundamentally, and I know this from my own experience, fundamentally, there are people that can train in the morning really well. And there are people that don't train in the morning very well. And I'm someone who, like, first thing in the morning, I struggle to drink water because I feel without feeling a little bit nauseous, so the idea of going and even doing a run, would just boil my brain. And so the idea of doing something intense, like, you're just getting nothing from me. I've just got very little energy. And I know that if I train later in the day, in like the early evening, mid-afternoon, I will perform much, much better. So regardless of what's going on in my body physiologically, like, I'm just going to expel more energy in the afternoon. It's as simple as that. So I used to say, well, when can you fit it in? And people would go, well, I've got an hour at lunchtime, or I've got an hour when I finish work. And I say, right, that is the best time for you. There is enough obstacles in this world regarding exercise than having to train when you think you should train. Now, Cheryl, if you're sort of thinking, this is the only time I've got, this is the time that I want to do it, then that's slightly different, and perhaps you can let us know. But I think Nick makes a great point. Like, is this a should or is this a want?
Because I used to really enjoy training in the morning. So when we did our Staff Winter Challenge, I used to get up, sort of like an hour extra early to go and train first thing. So I knew that I can't remember if we were doing miles or kilometres, whatever we were doing at that point, we're done for the day. That the other exercise we were doing, we're done for the day. And then if I wanted to, I would do more at lunch, or I would do more in the evening, because that fitted around a work schedule. Whereas now, I must admit, I'm kind of enjoying going for walks in the afternoon, which, between sort of 3 and 5 is never a normal point in my pre-quarantine life where I'd be like, yep, it's exercise time, let's head out. But actually, that's just what feels right at the moment. And I can go for a nice, lovely long walk. And
I'd be interested to know what chrono. Have you done the chronotype test before? Have you done it?
The sleep thing.
Yeah. Well, we all have like different chronotypes of like an owl, a bear, a
shark,
dolphin.
I was a wolf.
Was you a wolf?
I was really happy with that. I was like, it's the coolest one, so I'm fine with it.
I was like the complete opposite. By the way, you can do a free test online. Just Google chronotype test, and it'll tell you. Some people are like night owls, and some people are like morning. Yeah. Whatever is in the morning, cockerels.
Yeah, I was a bear, and it basically said you kind of just roam around.
Most common is a bear.
You kind of you do your thing, you have a little snack, you maybe have a nap, you do a bit more, have a little snack.
You sleep all winter. You've got this penchant for honey.
No, because with the bear thing, then because I know obviously a lot of people were kind of coming into the time of year where it's brighter in the evening. In fact, Georgia came back from her walk with Winnie when I was finishing off my laps of the quad yesterday, and we stopped and had to chat about how it's really nice, because she'd looked at her watch and gone, oh, I better get back because it's going to get dark soon. And then she looked around and went, doesn't feel like it's getting dark soon. And actually it's really nice because the mornings are a bit brighter, the evenings are obviously a bit longer. And again, I think for me, that makes me want to get up and do more or stay out and do more. Whereas in the depths of winter, I must admit, I did hit a point where I was like, no, this is not happening. Unless I'm somewhere nice and cozy and nice and warm, I don't want to do anything. Obviously not helped by having a horrendous cold most of December and January. But yeah, I think it's kind of that. It is spring. It cheers everyone up. I think it does give people more energy. But yeah, I think fundamentally for Cheryl's question, if you don't want to exercise in the morning, and like we say, if you've got other options to do it during the day, don't put that pressure on yourself, because the more I think that you think, oh, I've not exercised this morning, I've not done what I said to do, you're then in a negative mindset about yourself, about exercise. Maybe you then get to the afternoon and you think, oh, I could do it now, but I should have done it in the morning, so I'm not going to because it's a morning thing. So you're already sabotaging yourself almost, rather than just going, do you know what, mornings aren't doing it for me right now. I'll do it sometime other time.
Yeah, so Cheryl, the key point is what is your language betraying? Are you saying I should, or are you saying I want to? Because they're two different things. If you're saying should, then well, what's the alternative? And is that something that you want to do? If it's a want, slightly different. And what I would suggest is that you really pull back on your expectations and just go, you know what, I'm going to head out, and whatever I give, I give. So whether it's a walk around the garden, then that's all I'll do. You know, I've had people that hate exercise. Like the idea of them exercising is just like, you know, they would rather give up their right bloody kidney than exercise. And what we do with that is you say, right, well, every day for a week, I just want you to get up and put your gym kit on. That's it, nothing else.
Yeah.
Because at some point they're going to go, you know what, if I'm putting my gym kit on, I might as well go up and down the stairs a few times.
Yeah.
And then the next time I'll say, right, what I want you to do, I want you to walk for 5 minutes only, no more. Because what happens is they do the 5 minutes and it's dead easy for them to get started. But then at some point they go, well, if I'm doing 5, I might as well do 10.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing 10, I might as well do 20. You know, and I used to stand people on the treadmill and go, I just want you to stand there 5 minutes. And they'll go, well, what's the fucking point of standing here? I might as well start it.
Walking,
I might as well start it. And that's the key, because once you get going, you know, on the other side, you're going to enjoy it. You know, she said that in a statement there, in a little question. So lower the expectations, stop piling the pressure on yourself. And then whatever you give, and you'll probably find that you exceed your expectations. We do this at camp, every parade. You know, we say to the trainers, forget what happened before. It's a brand new session, no expectations. Yeah. The minute people have stood on that paddock, on that parade, they have won. Whatever else comes is a bonus, and we get more from people. You know,
I think maybe the other thing at the moment is also, I think some people are underestimating how much of their energy is going into just processing what's happening right now. And for some people, they're kind of like, oh, I don't have as much energy, or I'm just feeling quite sleepy and want to curl up. And actually,
I'm definitely sleepy a lot. Like I said, you know, I'm losing 2 hours of my working day because I'm sleeping longer. So,
but I think there is part of that is that there has been an energy shift that some people aren't acknowledging. They're just kind of like, oh, this is happening, I'm dealing with it. But somewhere inside you, in your head or your heart or wherever, it has to process that, and that takes energy. So it might be that, you know, while you think, oh, I should be doing this, I could be doing that, that actually, if you don't have the energy, don't have the inclination to do it, it's your body's way of saying, I'm kind of dealing with other stuff. Like your subconscious is working hard here, and other bits are working hard here to process what's going on. And
especially if you're a mother. I don't want this to be sort of gender thing, but you know, mums have got the fucking work cut out right now. You know, and
you know, I've got a friend who's working from home. Their family have been on lockdown because one of their kids just had a normal cold, but obviously they couldn't really rule out what it was. So she's been trying to work from home while the girls are at home. Her husband was obviously at home as well, so he was helping with them. He's now gone back to work because their lockdown's finished. And, you know, you kind of think, well, that's a lot of stuff to be doing. You know, you're trying to organize your own work, speak to people at the other side of the country while you've also got somebody saying, can you help me color in? And you've got another person who's needing nappies changed. That's stressful, you know, regardless, you know, if it's a mum, if you're a grandparent, if you're a dad, whatever it is, I think a lot of people's daily dynamic has changed quite a lot. And that takes time to process and adjust to, which we need to allow ourselves the energy to do that.
I think another part of it is a lot of people I know that say, I exercise in the morning because it sets me up for the day and it gets me going, and if I don't do that, then I know I'll have an unproductive day and I won't go do what I want to do. So if it's the fact that it's doing something to set you off on the right foot, just change what it is. If exercise is not working for you because you just can't get the motivation, there's that mental block that you said, Cheryl, change what it is that gets you going for the day. Maybe it's prepping the meals for everyone for the day, for your husband to go to work or your kids to have your lunch ready or whatever it is. Or maybe it's like a really simple one that they talk about in the podcast we listen to a lot is making your bed in the morning.
Oh, I like that one, yeah.
Stuff like that, getting your clothes ready for the next day and the night before, whatever it is, just like maybe change what that starter for the day is.
There's loads of nice morning meditations you can do or morning affirmation things which, you know, don't take long to sit and listen to, but maybe give you that bit of, you know, you time, because a lot of people's exercise, especially in the morning, I find it's them on their own. I mean, there's not many running clubs heading out at 6 a.m. Obviously, there are some, but not many. So I think for some people, part of that morning routine of exercise is it's your time on your own, get your head ready for the day. So just find another way to do that.
Yeah.
There's a great book. I just pulled up the details there whilst you were talking. The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. I don't know if anyone knows that. I think Mel Robbins is married to Tony Robbins. I think that's, tell me if that's not true. Anyway, she has a thing where basically when you have a thought, that you literally count from 5 down to 1, and then before you hit 1, you need to be doing it.
Right. Okay.
Before your little devil on your shoulder goes, nah, you don't need to be doing that. You know, Ash, you know, just sit and watch Ash, and just answer as if you are doing the session. You know what I mean?
Chuck some water over your head and take a picture. Oh my God, such a good session.
It feels so good. So that's a good book to read, The 5 Second Rule, Mel Robbins.
It's the same thing in the morning, isn't it? When you wake up, when your eyes open, you've got about 5 seconds before your brain goes, go back to sleep. If you open your eyes and go, right, out of bed, getting ready, started, then you can fine. But if you leave it just a bit too long, it's like, you can hit snooze one more time. Go on.
Yeah, or you're listening for other people in the house going, they've not got up either. If they've not got up, I don't have to get up.
I had a realisation the other day, on iPhone, the snooze button is massive. Like, it's a massive orange button that says snooze, but the stop button is a tiny little black button on the bottom of the screen. Just that subconscious thing, isn't it? Obviously, you know, the world trying to tell us, just have a little snooze. Go on.
Have a little snooze, that'll be fine. Not in our house though. I am up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can imagine you're one that just jumps out of bed. Yeah.
I don't jump out of bed, but yeah, I've no problem.
Yeah, just get up and going.
Final thing is what I want to teach you is the law of emotion, which the law of emotion states that the more that Nick goes bog-eyed in front of a microphone, I need to get a picture of that. I've got to sit with my camera. She keeps like getting zoned into the microphone like a kitten on a teaser. Like a kitten with a red dot laser, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, what's that? What's that? Anyway, yeah, law of emotion. Back to seriousness. What the law of emotion state? Imagine you've got a graph, and on the sides you've got how much you love something, how much you hate. So love is at the top and hate is at the bottom. And then on the lower axis, whatever that is, the y-axis or whatever, this is time. You know, what it states is that if you start off and there's something that you love, the more you do it, the more you grow to hate it, right? So this is why, this is the example I always give. This is why, like vanilla ice cream is just not good enough for us nowadays. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, Neapolitan ice cream was the fucking mutt's nuts. And Mum was like, Craig, what do you want? And I'd be like, oh, Mum, can I have all 3? And Mum would be like, of course you can, son. You've been well. You've been good today. And it'd be like, oh,
which
incredible.
way do you scoop it though? Do you scoop across the 3 or do you, a little? Okay, cool.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Just checking.
And but nowadays, you put Neapolitan ice cream in front of my kids. They'd be like, the fuck's that? Where's the bloody hundreds and thousands and tutti fruities? And why haven't I got a whole tub to myself? And because, you know, the more we do something we love, the more we get bored of it. We start to hate it. But the inverse is true. And the inverse is that if we have something that we hate, the more we do it, the more we grow to love it.
Yeah.
And the example I give for this is, you know, I used to hate pull-ups. Hate them with a passion. When I was in the Marines, you had a fitness test. And part of the fitness test is you would have to do 5 overhand, really strict pull-ups with your chest at the bar, right? Almost like a bleep test. It'd be like bleep, bleep, like this. I know you can't see that on the but you get the idea. Get the idea.
The visual's great, guys.
Craig's just power posing in the podcast room.
It's I fucking hate because I'd be there. I'd be the one shaking like a shitting dog trying to get my bloody my chins over the bar, you know, and more chins than a Chinese phone book. And I'd be like, you know, I hate pull-ups. And then, but what I did was I went through this phase as well where I'd go to the gym and I'd say, right, getting fit is about doing the things you're not good at, not the things you're great at. So, you know, yeah, there's a million really flexible yoga women out there, you know, without stereotyping too much, but women, and they go, look at this, you know, I can get my ear to my little toe and all this, and that's incredible. But yeah, you're just good at that. Pick up a fucking bar or put some weight on your back and go for a run. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't do it. You're hyper specific. Same as you get loads of lads that concentrate on lifting weights because they're strong. And I'm a bit of an example for this. My flexibility is shot, you know. So and then fitness is about working on those weaknesses, not your strengths. And so what I started doing was to prove a point. I'd go to the gym and think, right, the thing that I least want to do right now, I'm going to start with that. And it was always pull-ups.
Yeah.
Always pull-ups. So I started doing pull-ups. And then it got to the point where my warm-up would be 3 sets of 21 pull-ups, 10 squats, 10 press-ups. You know what I mean? And that's what I do as my warm-up. And I remember going, and it's weird how your identity changes, because I went from this like guy that was like shaking, you know, trying to get his bloody chin over the bar, to the girl that worked in the gym behind the counter saying, God, I've seen hundreds of people come into this gym and I've never seen anyone come in and do pull-ups like that. And I'm like, no, I don't do pull-ups. And they're like, no, your pull-ups are incredible, And I got to the point where I was doing press-ups with a clap and all sorts of different stuff. And I grew to love pull-ups,
Yeah.
And so you can too. What are you laughing at, Rick?
It's because it's making me feel sick just thinking about it.
Okay, maybe you could.
No, I think that's really true, because I think, well, definitely when I was at camp, when I first started, I couldn't run, and then obviously when I was at my fittest, I loved running, and then injured myself, and then was nearly died, and then was sick again, and now running's hard again, but I still like it, and it's one of those things that I know it will make the biggest difference. It's just that it's got hard again because I haven't been able to do it. But at the start, it would been like, if somebody told me to run, I'd be like, no. I'll give it a go, but it'll be a bit of a shuffle. A lot of people who knew me lastly at camp were like, oh yeah, you're a really good runner. And I was like, yeah, maybe I was. I will be again.
But I think if you understand the law of emotion and you take the pressure off,
definitely,
and you allow the process to take its course and keep at it, bit of determination and stop it. Right, get the camera ready.
I'm not going to do it again now. I'm out. I know it's tap game.
You can get there. You really can. So, any other points? Any final points?
Final points. I think it's also, you said it's a mental block, but I don't think it is. I think it's like we've discussed for this whole podcast. It probably isn't a mental block. It's probably more that your mind just doesn't prioritize exercise in the morning, and actually you just want to do something different, and you can, and that's fine. It's personalization. That's what works for everyone is what works for them, not for the rest of the world. Like, exactly, you'll find something that works really well for you, and if it works for you, do it. But then again, like Craig said, human nature is to kind of get a bit bored of it, or to overdo it or underdo it, and just change things. Just
mix it up.
No one. There's no one size fits all that works forever for everyone.
Right. So I've got a question for my big brother. Yeah, Joe, my big brother. We used to absolutely batter each other when we was kids. We used to hammer each other. I once hit him with a stick, and he stuck a dart in my hand. No, honestly, it's the truth.
My brother shot me with a BB gun at probably 2 foot range, but it was an air powered BB gun with metal BBs, and that was a big old bruise. That one, it was a welt.
Me and my brother, we got some funny stories, really funny. Oh God, we were little terrorists there. Anyway, his question is how to break the cycle of turning to food as a crutch when I'm bored, angry, upset. Which we kind of did a podcast on this the other day. Go back. It's called "Don't Make the Fridge Your Happy Place." Paula and I did it and released it.
It was,
what is it?
Yesterday.
Tuesday. Yeah. So the 31st of April. So have a little, 31st of March rather. Have a little listen to that. We talk about that, but it'd be good to chat about this. Now. For me, it's I always say that food is no longer food to us. Fundamentally, food used to be two things. It used to be energy, and it used to be messages. Information, and that's all food used to be. As cavemen, cavewomen, when we was hungry, we ate. When we needed we needed energy or needed whatever, we would eat. And that food, the food that we ate, would tell our body to do certain processes and certain functions and that kind of stuff. And then we started to feck about with food, and food became so much more. Probably Jesus is responsible for it because breaking the bread, the wine, making more of food. Say again.
Roasting a lamb.
Did he roast a lamb?
Yeah, wasn't the Last Supper roast lamb?
Yeah. Anyway, so there's also the point is.
Catholic school. I don't remember.
I was going to say, I think you're the one to answer that question.
The point is it's so much more, and it is the default setting because it's probably the quickest and easiest way for us to change our state. So if we are mad, angry, upset, bored, happy, the easiest way for us to do something to change that state in the body is to have some food, especially modern day food, and plus other things. It's habitual. Have you heard the story, like the analogy of the guy whose electricity dies in the house? Like his electricity is cut off for the day, and he walks upstairs to go to the bathroom, and he reaches out and turns the light on. Now, all logic is the light bulb is not going to come on.
No
There is no
power.
electricity.
Yeah.
But habit is like, we'll just reach out and flick the light on. Then you go, oh, fucking hell, I forgot that.
Yeah.
No, there's no electricity. What am I doing? You feel silly. But going to the fridge, looking around the cupboard, seeing what's in there, there's just so many habits and dopamine shots from that. And, what do you expect? You open the fridge and like someone's put a freaking pack of Maltesers in there for you.
You'll check every 25 minutes just to make sure that it's not
just to
magic
make
stuff.
sure.
Just in case something else has appeared,
Or that thing you ate before has reappeared maybe by magic.
Yeah.
But I think it's like you were saying, I've said it at camp before as well, there isn't an emotion that isn't linked to food anymore. You can name any emotion. I can tell you an event where food is tied to it. Happiness, weddings, we eat. Sadness, funerals, we eat. Everything, boredom, we eat. So it's almost like food's become an emotion of its own. Like it is this entire entity of its own, where it's like, well, it's time for food, isn't it? We're doing something. It's food. It's everything. Even exercise. It's going to sound stupid, but I remember being told by one PT that I had that 20 to 30 minutes after you exercise is the best time to get some food in because you're still burning or something. It's probably wrong.
The window of opportunity.
Yeah, but I took that to mean that I could eat 3 Mars bars straight after exercise. Because I'm going to burn it, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
It's fine. So what he actually meant was if you really clean straight after, it's going to be really good for you because it'll build your muscle or whatever. But I was just like, if I can eat anything I want for 20 minutes, nothing's going to happen. If I get to KFC real quick. But that was generally how my brain took it in. You give me an opportunity to have food, I'm going to have the worst food possible. I put air quotes around this just so you know, enjoy. When actually it was just like, it's that dopamine rush on top of a dopamine rush on top of a dopamine rush. It's just, you just want that thing to fix whatever it is your head's doing. And food's become that thing for pretty much everyone in the world.
Yeah. The thing is, you're unlikely to stop it is the truth.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to stop habits. What's much easier is to replace that with something else. So it needs a bit of forethought. And when I fasted in the past, you end up with loads of periods in the day where you would normally fill that time with food, with eating, the act of eating. And nature abhors a vortex. And so when you've no longer got that thing filling that time, it's like, well, what do I fucking do? And then if food is your default answer, no wonder you're talking, not talking to the fridge. You might be, depending on how bad it is. No wonder you're turning to the fridge.
I'll be talking to the fridge.
So the key thing is to have half a dozen, maybe 2 or 3 things that you do in place of it. Now my brother, I know he's writing a book. He's building a new business, and perhaps there's something he's journaling that he could do instead. And it's about flagging that in the mind, and then whatever reminders he needs, post-its on the fridge, whatever, to do that instead. You know what I mean? So it's like, if he put his journal next to the fridge, so when he goes to the fridge, you go, right, okay, no, I'm not eating, I'm doing my journal or something like that. And it's creating something we talk in the Conquer Food program about escaping forward instead of escaping backwards. Like escaping backwards is activities that you do that are regressive, not progressive. Things like binging on some crap series. Whatever,
maybe like sitting watching Netflix and going, right, I've gone to do my my essential shop, but my essential shop is just Pringles and Coke. That's me. I'm done.
That sounds perfect.
But then the escaping forward is like reading like a business book or a health book or listening to a podcast like this or watching a documentary. A good little plug that. On
like Miriam's Big Fat Adventure.
It's still on iPlayer for a few more days, I believe.
I think it probably is, yeah.
Is it? What,
so.
are they taking it off, are they? That's not fair.
I think it's only on for a month because...
What?
I know, I'm sorry to break it to you guys.
I only got 2 minutes. I'll leave at least 6 months on there.
That's not you, though. It's someone else in it.
Yeah, okay.
If anyone's watched, go and watch BBC iPlayer.
You won't believe it's me talking right now.
Catch up. Yeah. You'd be like, who's the other guy with Ricky's face?
A really, really posh voice.
It's my evil twin that lives in the attic. He came out just for that interview.
Yes, what? So what we're talking about is he completely changed his accent during the show. So go and watch it and then compare it to these podcasts.
Yeah, I think there's lots of things like you were saying. Sorry, going back to the question. There's lots of things like
All right.
just change that. Change the
Taking
subject
a moral high
quickly.
ground.
Yeah.
What I was saying was is that you can. There's lots of things you can do to interrupt that brain signal of going to the fridge is put something in front of the fridge, like put a literal barrier or
I was going to say, there's so many good examples of people who put notes in their fridges on Instagram and Facebook right now, obviously with sometimes lots of expletives of why they shouldn't be looking in their fridge, but they're quite funny.
Put a bottle of Corona beer at the front and then it might put you off. I don't know, something like that. But I think I know people that have put actual child locks on their fridge, but not.
You need an interrupt, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's that breaking that message of going, oh, this is the fridge. But if you put something like a child lock on it, it stops you because you go, oh, I've got to do something else to get in. I don't need to go in the fridge. It's already happened like that. There's that stop. Or every time you open the fridge, I'm not going to say punish yourself because it's the wrong thing to say, but every time you go to do something more productive. So I've opened the fridge, I've now got to do 5 burpees. That's going to stop you going to the fridge. Like,
and then you can combine that with some accountability. So you can say to the family, if you see me open that fridge and I don't do my burpees, squats, whatever, my brother is not going to do a burpee. I'll tell you that now.
All right, a thruster.
He ain't going to do a thruster.
Press up,
he might
something.
do some finger, some blinking, some like Tabata blinking. Or so, I don't know. But something, maybe he's got to walk around the garden or whatever. And then he can say to his family,
drink a glass of water.
Water's a good one, yeah, that's a great one. Have a glass of water. If he opens the fridge and doesn't do that, then you got to give his family 50 quid or whatever. You know what I mean? And create some extra accountability there, just to sort of help. You like that one, Nick?
I like that idea. I reckon that could be a new fun game.
Another good thing right now
is real rich.
Another good thing right now is if you've got loads of crap in your fridge and your cupboards and stuff, which I know I can be a culprit of that. I'll buy crap and hoard it almost because I know I'll want it at some point. Put it all in a bag, take it to a food bank. That's like, just get rid of it. Get it out of the house. And I know, like, you might want to keep 1 or 2 things. That's obviously acceptable. We're not going to say never have a bad bit of food ever again. But right now, people really need food. Like, there's a shortage for some stuff, like tin stuff, packet stuff that people can just have and it's going to last time. Take it to a food bank right now because people need it. So it gets out of the house, stops you eating it, and it helps somebody else. Can't really win more than that, can you?
I had a business idea once, right? A little invention, right? It was called the snack locker, right? And it was a safe with a timed combination on it. So people could just, like, when they buy all the shit, they go, right, just put it in the snack locker, lock it when they're in a logical state of mind, and then it's on a timer. And they can't access it.
I hate to break it to you, but I think someone's already invented.
Yeah, I know they have. But they've done it. They've released it in the last couple of years. Like I came up with this 10 years ago.
Oh, Craig,
this
you
was
should have
my
made
idea.
it.
I know.
5-second rule. You should have been doing it before the 5 seconds are counted down.
And everyone was like, "No, well, I'll just go and get more." Yeah, but you put your keys in there. You know what I mean? You put your keys in the snack locker, or whatever you need to do.
We've spoken at camp before, and we've been like a little ruts where we're going through a week, or we just end up at Sainsbury's every night. Not right now, obviously, because we're locked down. But when it was normal life, we'd go to Sainsbury's every night and buy something crap and would eat it. We actually were like, I might give you my car keys this week because I'm in that kind of frame of mind, or I might give you my debit card this week just to stop me, But yeah, there's little things like that can make a big difference. And we were saying, I think we said on the podcast the other week, the 1 hour rule. If you go like, I really want chocolate right now, just say to somebody, "Oh, I'm going to have some chocolate," and if they say 1 hour, you've just got to stop for 1 hour. And if in an hour's time you still really want that chocolate, then have it, fine. But it's just because probably you don't want chocolate. You're just thinking about something different right then. So yeah, that's a good way of doing it.
Have you heard of the Pavlok? Pavlok.
Is that Pavlova with a padlock on it?
No, so the Pav. Yeah, so you can't have it.
Sorry, Pavlov.
The Pav comes from. The experiment with the dogs.
Yeah.
Pavlov's dogs. So, and then the lock is like, whatever. Anyway, it's a bracelet. It's a bracelet that you wear, and it gives you an electric shock when you go to bite your fingernails. Gives you electric shock. When it first came out, it was a Kickstarter project, and I bought one to trial it, right? And I've always bit my fingernails, and whilst I was wearing this Pavlok, I stopped biting my fingernails, right? Okay. Because every time I lifted my hand up to my mouth, I got
a shock.
I'm like, fucking hell. And what you could also do as well, is you can send the app to your family and friends. Mm-hmm. So if they see you biting your fingernails, they can zap you.
That'd be dangerous.
Anyway.
We just start with Winnie's shot colour. We'll just adapt it.
So you can have, a Pavlok is another way as well, where you get, instead of having the reward of opening the fridge and having a bit of food, you could zap yourself, you know what I mean? And it just breaks up. Anyway, available on Amazon.
Okay.
This episode is not sponsored by Pavlok. I was actually going to give them to every Conquer foodie. Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued by them. How much do they hurt, though?
They don't hurt a great deal. But enough. Like,
I love that Ricky's face just went, enough to stop me.
Probably not. That's the
I
problem.
can test that.
I remember we got the first time we got shot collars for my dogs because
Shotgun?
Wait,
Shot
shot
collars.
collars.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I thought, where the hell is this going?
When I recreated Old Yeller in my backyard, shot collar for my dog because he kept running away. The whole thing of like you should try it on yourself before you can put it on your dog so you know what you're doing to your dog because it's not fair, obviously, sort of thing. So we did, and obviously it's got like 1 to 20 or whatever on it, and you're meant to put on like 4 or 5 for the dog because it's just a little. So me and my brother were like, well, how high can we go? So we're on 20, obviously, and I nearly lost my arm. Right? So yeah,
Restarted your heart.
Probably why I've got a heart condition now. Yeah. But yeah, so it probably wouldn't work on me, but yeah.
Right, so Rick's answer to this fridge thing that he's put a shock collar on. Jesus Christ. And if you find that you're kind of sniffing your bum a lot.
Give the remote to George, I'll be dead by the end of the week.
Right, hopefully, Joe, thanks for commenting, by the way. It's good to see you in the group that you've found that of benefit. It's been another great episode.
A lot of fun, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's been definitely, we're definitely settling down into it, aren't we?
Yeah. We'll be podcast pros by the end of this quarantine.
Tell me about it. Okay, right, Nick, obviously it's your turn for the closing words.
Oh, I'm too distracted by shot collars.
Before we do that, I need to remind everyone that's listening that if you're finding this of benefit, if you're enjoying listening to it and you're getting good advice and that kind of stuff, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on whatever platform you watching, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, whether it's iTunes or whatever. Leave us a 5-star review. It does three things basically. One is it helps other people find this information. And I got an email this morning. I shared it with you guys.
Yeah, it's amazing.
There are desperate souls out there struggling with food, and all of them, we can resonate with all their stories. We've experienced it, and they need this help. 5-star review would do that. It will also let us know that we're creating the right information. And
doing something right and something good.
Yeah, there was
that email this morning was lovely though, because it is hard. Well, it's not hard doing the podcast. It's lots of fun, but it's nice knowing that they are helping people, especially people we don't even know yet, haven't come to camp yet. It's really nice to know. It was a really nice message to get this morning.
Yeah.
And the final thing is that as well as that, hand in hand with that, we're doing episodes every day now. We're going to start pulling that back a little bit as we settle back into regular life again. So the posting of the podcast might get a little bit unregular. What's the opposite to unregular? Sporadic, yeah. So in order to get the notifications and make sure you get every episode, just think about subscribing as well. Right, Nick, what we got?
My thoughts for the end of today are, obviously buy a shot collar, but also spring's here, go outside or look outside your window, see things which are nice and bright and colourful and new and blossoming into the world, just like everyone is out there.
Amazing. Okay, so on 3, a big goodbye for everyone listening. 1, 2, 3.
Goodbye, everyone listening.